How many games will the Green Bay Packers win in 2023? What's going on, cheeseheads? It's Mitch here of the Bottom Line View, here to give you my record prediction for the Green Bay Packers in 2023. Let me know your thoughts, because this is a big transition year, obviously going from Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love. This team's going to have a lot of different opinions, very divisive. Let's find out what I think. Let's go game by game. Let's predict this schedule. Let's go. The NFC North is wide open. And I know that you probably expect the Packers to be right back in the conversation, even post Aaron Rodgers. But I just don't think it works out that way. I kind of feel like this season is going to be a lot like when you went from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers that first year in 2008. Quickly, you became a good team after that year. There's a little bit of a transition that has to happen. And that's kind of what I think is going to happen this year. The Packers still have a lot of talent, especially defensively. But can they turn it into a winning team? Week number 1, you play the Bears on the road in Chicago. This is a big game for Chicago. Obviously, Jordan Love's first ever action. It's going to be on the road. First ever action as a starter, okay? It's on the road in Chicago. Not the easiest of environments. I will say that obviously you kind of own the Bears, but how much of that was Aaron Rodgers? I kind of think it was a lot. The Bears are obviously pumped after having a really good offseason. I think that helps them get this win. I think this is the game where finally the Bears beat the Packers, and it's like a sigh of relief. Honestly, I think if you beat the Bears here, it's a good sign for what you can be this year. I wouldn't even really expect you to win this game, just because it's that first week with Jordan Love as your starter. I think there's going to be a lot of new. Week 2, you play the Atlanta Falcons. This is a 50-50 game. Depending on what Jordan Love is, you could win this game. Again, I don't know. I don't know what Desmond Ridder is going to be either. But what I do know is that I like the identity of the Falcons. I like their running game. I do think the Packers can struggle with that. And I like some of their weapons. Pitts, Drake London, Arthur Smith's a creative play caller. These two guys obviously kind of similar. Like Arthur Smith, Matt LaFleur, two Titans former OCs. Defensively, I think Atlanta really upgraded their front. I think they can win this game. The Packers might be able to steal this one, but I'm going to take the Falcons at home. Week 3, you play the Saints. I think this is your first win of the season. Dome team going outside to Lambeau. Derek Carr, typically not great in that environment. Now, the Saints defense can be a little confusing. Definitely can give Jordan Love some trouble, but if you can just run the ball a little bit, set them up for some big plays, get that screen RPO game going, maybe Christian Watson makes a couple big plays here. Defensively, I think you definitely can have a big game. So I'm going to take the Packers. I think they're going to beat the Lions on Thursday night to go 2-2 in the opening month. And then people are like, oh, really interesting. Jordan Love's starting to gain some steam. I definitely think there's going to be high highs this year. I think there's going to be also low lows. Like, I think it's going to be an inconsistent roller coaster of a ride, but it's going to be fun. And I think for the Packers, it's going to be promising at the end of the day. And games like this are going to be moments where I think the Lions are probably going to win this division. I'm not going to deny that. They're the most talented team. They're the team that's gone all in to win this division this year. The Packers, not so much. They're in a transition year, as I've said. Thursday night at home. They don't want to get swept like last year. This is a big game. It's a revenge spot for last season, getting eliminated from the playoffs in that Week 18 matchup. I think they beat the Lions here because of that. I think they lose to the Raiders. Yeah, they have an extended rest, but this is against your arch nemesis, Jimmy Garoppolo, who you can't seem to beat that handsome devil. Also, the Raiders, really good offensively, really tough to stop. And I think Las Vegas on a Monday night, that's going to be just wild. Like, the fans are going to be rowdy. Jordan Love in that environment, how's he going to look? Like, that is the first primetime away game that he's going to witness. That type of pressure. I think that's going to be a lot. Then you go to the bye week. Not so bad. Then you play the Broncos in Denver. I'm going to lean towards the Broncos. I really respect Sean Payton. I think they've got a solid defense, a talented offense. What are we going to get from Russell Wilson? He seems to always fluke it off against the Packers. I lean towards the Broncos here, but this is definitely one that the Packers could steal, especially coming off of a bye week. Then week number 8, you play the Vikings at home. Again, I think you're going to split with pretty much your entire division. I'm going to take the Vikings. I think your division is very wishy-washy, very like mid. I think the Vikings defense certainly can be had. I think you can make some plays there. Offensively, Kirk Cousins outside in Lambeau, not his best game. Then week 9, you play the Rams, Matt LaFleur, Sean McVay, two familiar coaches. I think the Packers win that one. I think Matt LaFleur has outcoached McVay a couple times already. And I think that's a tough environment for an LA team that's used to the glitz and the glamour. They have to go to Lambeau for that one. Week number 10, you play the Steelers. I think the Steelers win because it's a really tough scheme for a young quarterback to handle, especially on the road. So I'm going to take the Steelers. Then you got the Chargers. This is one where I think the Packers can steal this. I really have a feeling the Packers are going to win this game. And I almost really want to pick the Packers. But it's hard for me to like not pick Justin Herbert. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm going to pick the Packers. I am. I don't know. Call me crazy. I just have a feeling about this game. I have a feeling the Packers are going to be able to run the ball on the Chargers. I like their secondary in this matchup. I think by this time in the season, Jordan Love's going to be gaining confidence with his weapons and his offense. And I think when they can run the ball, it's going to set him up for success. So I think Packers win. You lose to the Lions on Thursday night on the road. You lose to the Chiefs, one of the best teams in football, Patrick Mahomes. That should be a fun game at Sunday Night Football. You lose to the Giants. You lose 3 in a row, starting to slip a little bit, but these are some good games. Like you play the Chargers, the Lions, the Chiefs, the Giants, all playoff caliber teams. Giants on the road, Monday Night Football. You play the Bucks. I think you'll beat the Bucks at home. That could go either way, given that Todd Bowles has done a great job against Matt LaFleur's offenses in the past. But I think the Packers can win that game at home. Then you play Carolina on the road. I think Carolina wins. I think Bryce Young by week 16 is getting pretty comfortable. Week 17, the Vikings win at home. Vikings at home are really tough to beat, as you guys know. And then week 18, you get revenge on Chicago for week 1 and win that game. So I think ultimately, Packers at about 7-10 makes sense. I think Matt LaFleur is going to surprise some people with what he can do with the offense. I think there's going to be more structure to the offense, but I just don't know how much talent there is. The offensive line's fairly good, but it's going to struggle more with a young quarterback who's going to hold on the ball a little bit more. Obviously, you got a great running game still. Christian Watson's there, but not a lot else really like that's proven. And then defensively, I think you're a little bit up and down. I'm not a huge fan of the coaching, but you've got a lot of talent. Rashawn Gary returns this year. I think the Packers are going to be a fun team. I think they're going to pull off some upsets. I think they're going to be in a lot of games. I just don't think they're going to be great this year. So ultimately, I think this is a build on it year for the Packers. And I think it's going to be similar to 2008. Let me know in the comment section below what you guys think. Gronk, spike that like button, and we'll see you in the next video. Peace.